Melanites, today we have a very special guest. Her name is Zelda Jackson.
Yes, and she's running for District 2 City Council and here in Atlanta. And District 2, I have a map here and we'll post it. So I don't even need to show it to you right now. But it's in the downtown area.
Zelda, go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you kindly for having me, first of all. Yes, I'm running for District 2, and I'm trying to make history. I'll be the first black woman who ever got elected to this district. I'm so blessed. So
yes.
District 2 consists of downtown Atlanta, Midtown, Old Fourth Ward, Candler Park, Inman Park, and Ponce Highland. And I want to make history here to help my people unite, go out and vote. Vote for the right candidate who is a true servant leader. And that's what I am. I've been serving for many years. I worked for Congressman John Lewis as an intern at Morris Brown College, and I stayed on after I graduated. And I got my BA in political science, and then after I left him, I worked for this district, District 2, for councilperson Debbie Starnes. I was her chief of staff the last 5 years of her office. And when she decided not to run for re-election, I worked for Representative Alicia Thomas Morgan. Miss Morgan, it was over at District 39, the State House, and that's Austell, Smyrna, Mableton. And then I came back to the city, worked for the municipal clerk herself, Rhonda Johnson, as a contractor, and I did that for almost 3 years. And then I decided, you know what, instead of me being behind the scenes, I need to get on out in front.
Yeah,
make this
and
thing happen.
Why Atlanta?
I made, I'm sorry to cut you up.
Why Atlanta? Atlanta, I live downtown.
Okay.
I live in the district, and that's the only way you can run for the office is to live in the district. So that's why Atlanta.
Okay.
I met Zelda at Morris Brown at the Colin Kaepernick rally, so I know for sure, she's definitely concerned with what's going on because I witnessed it. I was out in the field with her, and we spoke about those grassroots campaigns, and how the older people really, if they're not connected through social media or texting or their computer or anything like that. She is for going door to door to let people know what's going on.
Okay,
you might lose your house if you don't do this, if you don't vote for that. You need to be aware of this. And this is exactly what we need. And this is what we need to get back to. Those grassroots campaigns, those people that are out here that know what's going on and that are concerned, genuinely concerned about the people in the city. And that's one of the things that I thought was just wonderful about you. And I said, I just got to help her out. So,
and I
Zelda,
appreciate that.
Zelda, I got a couple questions for you. I have a follow-up after this one. The first one is, what made you want to get into politics?
Well, that was my degree, political science.
Okay.
That's the first thing.
Okay.
And the second thing is you see civil rights violations daily. And I never forget, I said, Mama, they're killing black people, they're killing black boys, that's not how it's supposed to. Mama said, they're just going back to the old. So history repeats itself.
Right. Absolutely.
And if we don't pay attention and wake up as a people, we're going to be lost. And I'm glad you brought up the fact that you met me down at Morris Brown, and I said we have to do the thing. We're protesting, but we're not doing the next step, is the boycott. We have to start hitting people in the pocket where it counts. If you don't mess up someone's finances, you just arguing, you just bickering, you just making noise. You have to hit somebody where it counts.
That's funny.
And that's
that you
what
brought
they're
that
hitting
up.
us at.
That's funny that
I
you
was the
brought that
only
up.
candidate. I suspended my campaign to fight against the property taxes increase with Fulton County Board of Assessors. I was the only one that did it. And then as other people saw me making a big stink about it, you can't raise my property taxes 300 and 500% in one time because you didn't have the manpower.
Right.
We didn't have the tools. What you talking about? You trying to push me out of downtown, which is happening in every city in the United States.
Every city.
We don't have levees down here to break,
Right.
to blow up.
So what else they going to do?
We can raise your taxes.
Yep. And get you
We're
out.
not going to educate you about the different programs to help you stay in the city. Like a lot of people don't know, if you have a credit score of 640 and you make less than $46,000 and you've been living in the city for a year, you can get a grant from Invest Atlanta to stay here and buy property. That grant money is free money that you don't have to pay back.
We need to get more information about that and get that out to people, because I think that we perish from lack of knowledge.
That's the thing.
We want to, at Innovative Black Station, we always want to be the place where people go to find out stuff like that.
I agree. We
There's
need
just
that.
a lack of things like that. And I always say people want to be entertained and not informed anymore, and that's not going to work.
The buffoonery needs to stop.
It has to.
And the thing about it is, my whole campaign is based on grassroots, and I'm talking how I'm going to educate my people by having town hall meetings. You get to sit down like how we are now. You have your council member, you'll have your Fulton County commissioner, you'll have your school board rep, you'll have your city utilities, and your church. Stop this gated community lockdown situation where we're excluding everybody and include people from the youngest to the oldest. So let you know what the policies are and what's going on and what I need to vote on and what's your opinion. I need your feedback. We got to do this together. And then we have our issue, then our plan of action, then your follow up and your follow through. And that's what you get from me, your council member in District 2.
And let me ask you a question. How do you feel about the state of young voters?
Oh, they're not coming out to vote. And that's another thing. Thank you for bringing that up. I was out knocking on doors last night, getting caught in the rain, and I got a call from a young man. His name is Eric Spears. Thank you so much for calling me and letting me know the Urban League was having a forum at Georgia State Student Center, and I wasn't invited. And this is not the first time it's happened, but I almost missed this one. Last minute, I got off the field, grabbed my stuff, and took a taxi. Left my car, took a taxi, and telling the guy, I'll pay you whatever, get me here. Got there, took off my raincoat, took off my hat. I was looking kind of thuggish, you know. Had a little jacket, whatever, little slacks. Not the thing I would wear to a forum, to let my people know I'm here. I didn't get invited, but I'm still here representing. I want your vote, and I need your vote so this doesn't happen to anybody else. I'm trying to make history. I'm trying to be the first black woman elected to this office. And not only I'm not trying to make history, I'm trying to do for my people and not leave anybody out. Everybody needs to be at this table. Because guess what God's not making no more? He's not making land. And if you're not a landowner, you're nobody.
So, of course, you know the name of our show is called Connecting the Dots. So how can we stop the disconnect from the young voters to starting to vote and pay more attention to what's going on in the community? Because there seems to be a big disconnect, not just information, but how can we inform them in a way to where it's interesting, so to speak?
Well, the thing is, when I was going to get my master cosmetology license at Atlanta Tech, I was talking to young girls there. Most of them, they were there because they were young mothers, and they were forced to go back to school because if they didn't, they would lose their, the monies from the government. And I was telling them, I said, you have to go out and vote. Why? What's for? What going to do? What are they going to do? I said, well, that's why you're here now, because they don't want you to get the programs that are available to you. They're cutting everything. And if you don't pay attention, you won't have monies to go to school. You won't have monies to further your technical license if you want to. You won't have monies to help your grandparents, because a lot of people don't realize if your grandparents own a home, there's programs set up there to help your grandparents fill the gap in getting the homes serviced. Like if, say, they have a roof leaking or need some repairs, that's available to them. But you don't know it because you're not getting the information. So you have to be involved in your government because you are paying monies. We are the best consumers. Black people are the best consumers in the world. We spend more money in the world. And just like I was listening to Tyler Perry on the TV the other day, the movie industry makes $7 billion. The hair industry makes $7 billion. We're consumers. Now we need to be investors into our owners. Country. Yeah, we're making money for everybody else. This government is made for us, and we're not paying attention to that. So if you want to go back to college, if you want to get a technical license, if you don't want that, even if you are not interested in education, you need to be paying attention about how this black man is an endangered species.
Amen.
He's getting killed just walking out the street.
Amen.
And they're saying, well, I had the right to defend myself. I had to stand my ground. Stand my ground what? Right. He's unarmed.
That's a law that we really need to.
So we have to start getting those repealed, making sure that we get the people that are getting into law enforcement trying to kill people out. because I have a big ideal of what I would like to do with government. Term limitations. You don't need to be in government so long that
Yes.
you die in that office. That's crazy. You don't need to be an apartment head that long.
Absolutely.
And then another thing is we need to get our police officers, because all police are not bad. My father was a former police officer. I got cousins who are police officers, but they need to get mental health checks.
Yes.
They need to make sure that they don't have PTSD.
Personality tests. I mean,
Right.
even in corporate America, you take those
You need to
personality
make sure
tests and drug tests and all that
'cause
stuff.
they see things that we don't.
Right.
And it can affect them
Yeah.
mentally. And just like a fireman, they see things that we don't. I was hearing one of the stories from one of my friends who graduated from Morris Brown with me. He had to go find a child's arm, find someone's head, and that's a fireman. Did you ever think that that's what they do?
Well, they're the ones that show up at the car accident.
First responders.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I witnessed it.
You don't know.
Yeah.
We don't see that. We only see behind the scenes. Like somebody said, well, Zelda, what does it take to run for office? I said, it's a 24-hour day thing. It's not, okay, I'm on TV, I'm smiling, or I'm kissing babies.
But how
No.
does that affect your family life? You being in the office. I always wanted to ask someone that ran for office that like.
You're going to make me cry. Well, my parents were really big in politics back home. They were on the Democrat Party, and they were going to help me. And then my father got Alzheimer's and dementia, and he's in the last stages of it, so he couldn't come down. And then my mother was going to come, and then she had a stroke in April. Can't use the right side. And they're saying, we need you to come here. I said, well, can you come to me? And I can get you the services you need. They didn't want to leave each other. Neither one wanted to come by separately, and they didn't want to come together because their hometown is Charleston, South Carolina. And that's where they met.
That's where they
and
are,
that's
yeah.
where they got brought here from, because both of my sides of the family were enslaved here. And so they don't want to leave. And so it's been heart-wrenching since I am the only girl to lead this, and I am single. I've never been married, I have no children, and I have some support, but my one support, and that his name is Marvin Smith. He's a on the road truck driver. He don't understand it. He was
Right,
like,
yeah.
the time for family time. You need to take time with me.
Yeah.
I was like, but this campaign does not end.
Right, it doesn't end. And then
It's every day.
The benefits of it, and then it'll continue to go on and on and on. And the love that you have, you know, is what you're going to give to the people,
Right.
you know, and that it could be a little bit selfish, I would imagine, being on the other side, being a family member. But, you know, I just think that's wonderful.
And that's the reason why today I joined church.
Yeah.
I've had a choice.
Congratulations.
Thank you kindly. And that's why I was late. I had said that I had a church home, but it was convenient because I could just walk over. But this place felt like home.
Oh, yeah,
They
that's
cared
great.
about me. I asked them to pray for me. I asked them to pray for my parents, Harold and Vermel Jackson in Charleston, South Carolina,
Yeah,
because
we'll
a
keep
lot of
them
people
in
don't
our
know
prayers.
Morris Brown came from Charleston. That's how we came here to go to school. He was a preacher in Charleston, South Carolina, and built Morris Brown College.
Wow. And it's
So it's just all the way around. So yes, it has been a quite strain. It's been the most hardest work I ever done in my life. Worse than my MBA, worse than my BA.
Wow.
But this is a life dream.
Yeah, we have to
you
get
originally
everyone
from
out.
Charleston?
Charleston, South
So
Carolina.
let me ask you a question. What is it about Atlanta, the city of Atlanta, that makes you want to make it
a better yeah.
place?
Well, we have the two cities of Atlanta. You have the haves and have not. And Tyler Perry is an excellent man who gets the word out. You have downtown and midtown and Buckhead and Vine City. Now, if we had the stadium, the first dome in Vine City, and Vine City still looks the same way. But you had to get land for Morris Brown. Okay, and then Buckhead is booming and growing. The equity is not being shared. So we need to come in and get an advocate, because somebody said, I don't want you in office, Zelda. You're an advocate for us, and we don't want you to lose that. No, you need an advocate inside.
Yeah, we need to keep spreading that word. And not only you, don't depend on you. Someone else help
forward.
me. Yeah.
And I don't want to be a long-term council member. This is not what I choose to do for the rest of my life. But there's going to be someone with brighter ideals and smarter and connected to the younger people and know how to connect the older people who can come and take over.
So how do you think we can get the younger voter more involved?
Well, the hardest thing in the world is to get them to volunteer. Now, if I had that budget that true budget, that money machine behind me, but I don't. And I'm not bought, so that's why I don't have that.
But I think now the difference is with a lot of these campaigns that social media is a big tool too.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm on social media.
Give everyone your information, how they can reach you on social media.
I have 2 Facebook accounts, Zelda Jackson for Atlanta City Council, District 2, and Zelda Jackson. That's my private one, personal one, but it's open to everyone. I have a Twitter account, which is Zelda L. Jackson 67, the year I'm born. And then I have Instagram, which is Jackson for Action, Jackson.
I
Just
like
look at
that, Jackson for Action.
Okay, back school city, old school 1970s. Jackson for Action, Action Jackson, that's me. Because I'm all about action. I'm all about getting it done. And what I want to tell the young people, if we don't pay attention, if we don't look and see what's happening, grandmama's going to believe that reverse mortgage crap on news, talking about, oh, you can have a reverse mortgage and you don't have to pay it back. And then when she passes on,
you won't have anything.
Big Mama's
the bank will
own this
take
house. No, she used to own the house, but she signed on to this reverse mortgage because guess what? When they say the word mortgage, that means you have to pay it back.
Checkmate.
It's not free.
And it's
so don't
for
believe
years.
that lie. Okay, and there's guidelines into that too. You have to keep the upkeep of the house. You have to make the renovations that you need. You have to pay your property taxes.
Yes.
And you have to have a stipulation in how you're going to pay them back. And if they don't do that, they're thinking, well, I'm raising this grandbaby, I'm raising my great-grandbaby, that's just going to take a stress off of me. They lost their home. Just believe that. You lost your home.
So tell everybody, I know early voting has already started.
Early voting started October 16th and ends November 3rd, and election day, the big day, is November 7th, and it's from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You have to go out and vote. Be counted.
Tell people where they find out. Do you know the website where you can find out where your voting poll location?
You can check with the City of Atlanta. The municipal clerk has that information, and so does Fulton County. And you can call me, or you can check my website, zeldajackson.com. Call me, 770-880-9425. That's my personal cell, and I will look it up for you, okay? Because you can get online, Fulton County, GISGA.gov, or you can call me, and I'll do it for you if you don't have access to the computer.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zelda
Ms.
Jackson.
Zelda Jackson.
Definitely was a pleasure having you today.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
sir.
for coming
And
by.
Thank you so much, Kim. Appreciate you. Love you.
Connecting the dots.
Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all.